You're on.
When you make the mistake of coming to Jesus' corner of the world, and corner of the world means, actually he owns the whole thing, but when you came to the corner that he was in at the time, he would challenge you in everything that you are. He'd challenge you in your religion. He'd challenge you in the faith of that religion. He would challenge you in things that you love, the things that you seek after, the people that you hang around. The Lord would challenge you in where you are going in life. And you know something, today pastors don't challenge people today. Pastors don't challenge people today. They only puff you up. You know, when you go out there and work out, excuse me, in a gym, you work out, you pump that muscle up. You know, like Popeye on TV. In actuality, when you pump that muscle up, you have gained nothing in that pumped up muscle. And it looks bigger and it's more showy, but you're no stronger than you. As a matter of fact, after that muscle is pumped up, you're actually weaker, because working in stressful conditions will drain your energy. I know when I work out, man, some days I feel wrenched. I kid you not. And it is the ideal of something wrenching, like wringing out a rag. That's wrenching a rag. You wring that rag and drain everything out of it, and that's the idea. And that's the way preachers are today. You go into their church, they wring you out for every dollar that you've got. Keep coming back. But you know what? Being Christ-like, being Christ-like is being like Him, doing the things He did. And it will teach you, it'll show you, it'll bring you to that place where you would challenge people. I've had Muslims come to the corner of my world, and I've challenged them in what they believe. And most people, when you challenge them in their belief, they'll get mad. They'll get upset. They'll curse at you. I've had people curse at me because I challenged them in their belief. And this is just something that God has put into me. But when you are comfortable with what you believe, when you know that you know that you know, then you're comfortable with it, you know. And I've been in places where God was challenging me in my belief, and I would answer him, and he's getting upset, and I'm like, look, I says, who are you trying to convince, me or you? Because you're the one getting upset here, not me. I'm comfortable with what I believe. And when you're comfortable with what you believe, you don't get upset. Look at Luke 9:54. This is about 3 verses of extremely helpful information to people in this condition that need some encouragement in being comfortable in what they believe. Jesus was talking here. It's Samaritans, when the Samaritans rejected Christ. And verse 53 says, but the people there refused to welcome him because he was heading for Jerusalem. You know, he's passing through. You come to people's house, you ever done that? And you're wanted to stop by quickly and say hi, and then they get upset because you can't stay longer. or you're not really referencing them, but you're going someplace else. You have a excuse me, a goal in mind, and so they get mad. This is what happened here. And look, and when the disciples James and John saw this, they asked the Lord, "Do you want us to call down fire from heaven and consume them?" And Jesus turned to them and rebuked them. And he said to them, in verse 55, and they went on to another village. And Jesus said there, in one of the other books, he says, "You don't know what kind of men that you are of." Now, when Jesus did this, now he could have, he was commander of the lightning bolts. If he had got upset, there wouldn't have been a planet Earth left. I'm glad that God sent him down with his mercy. Because if he had handed out, if he'd given back the attitude that the world gave to him, he told a story there that said, he sent his husbandmen, or the owners of the field, back to check on what that he had, and it said that they beat the servant, and that he sent. And then he said, "Surely if I send my son, they'll reference him." So they sent the son, and he said what the caretakers did, they took the son and they killed him. He said, "Surely here's the heir. If we kill the son, then the field will be ours." So Jesus asked, "What do you think is going to happen to those evil servants when the master comes?" That's what's going to happen. And when the men of the world, they do this kind of thing, and every day people have the attitude of like they own this, so they're getting upset because they're protecting that which they think they own, but they're not protecting that which they think they own, or they are protecting that, but they are not. They're protecting something that they don't actually own. Okay, and then they went down to another village. Alright. Okay, but now listen. And the Pharisees and the Sadducees came to Jesus and tested him by asking him to show them a sign from heaven. Now here's what I'm talking about. When you made a mistake of coming to Jesus' corner of the world, he would challenge you in everything that you are. And these are the kind of people that he loved to challenge, okay? These are the kind of people that he loved to challenge. The scribes and the Pharisees. You know what? Because these are the very people he was talking about. The caretakers of the garden. You know what? The president is not really the caretaker of the garden. Congress, the Senate, House of Representatives, those are not the people that are really the caretakers of the garden. Those are people that are just overseeing the process. That's it. The real caretakers of the garden are the preachers, pastors, evangelists, deacons, elders, apostles, prophets. Those are the people that God has left in charge. And those are the ones that Christ was most concerned about. And those are the ones that he loved to challenge. And see, now if you are Christ-like, you're going to challenge it. Well, the Bible tells us, Luke 9:23, "Whosoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me." Whosoever wants to be his disciple must take up their cross, deny themselves, and follow him. And here's what you should be doing, okay? The Pharisees also and the Sadducees came, tempting, desiring him that he would show them a sign from heaven. You know, only an adulterous generation seek for a sign. Remember that? And he answered and said to them, when it is evening, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. Oh, you hypocrites. Oh, you hypocrites. Hey, you bunch of hypocrites. Listen. How many of you could see Joel Osteen saying, hey, you bunch of hypocrites? He ain't going to do that because he ain't about to challenge nobody and they're nothing. And about 90% of the other yahoos out there, fake, antichrist, hypocritical, they're not about to challenge nobody and nothing. Because if they do, they're going to run all those people off. They've been patching around for who knows how long. Oh, you're all right. Yeah, oh, go ahead, dude. You know what? They had multiple wives. It's okay, you know. Who cares? I mean, it's all about grace. Let me tell you how to prosper, how to get prosperity. Look, now take some notes and write this down. Here's how you prosper. Blah, 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 blah. Means absolutely nothing. Jesus says, you bunch of hypocrites. You can discern the face of the sky, but you cannot discern the sign of the times. they were looking at the foundation of, they supposedly been experts, but yet they don't know the sign of the times. And Jesus said, you bunch of hypocrites, a wicked and adulterous generation. Verse 4. Seek after a sign, and there shall no sign be given but the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them and departed. They were with their mouths hanging open. Well, you know what? You go in there and say, you bunch of hypocrites, you bunch of wicked, adulterous generation. You know what? Make the mistake of coming to my corner of the world and see if I don't challenge. You know what? I challenge a lot of people. I told a guy just the other day, man. I said, because Jesus is supposed to be all about love. What's this all about if he's only love? He is not only love. God has a negative side. And that negative side challenges evil. It holds up good, and it challenges evil. You know why? Because God has put together. You know, the battery in a car is fashioned from the ideal of how the whole universe is made. It has negative, it has positive. The Bible says the heavens declare His glory, and all of that out there has a negative and a positive. Ask any half-brain. You can ask Bill Nye, the science guy, knows that. Everything out there has a negative and a positive. And it's all held together in that fashion. Because the heavens declare the glory of God. Negative and positive. You know what? The negative side and the positive side work together. You take the negative away, you've got no power. You have absolutely no power. But they both, working together, fashion power that is complete within God. Okay? And you know, and you know what? People like Jesus, he didn't come seeking the whole world. If you're like Christ, you may not get 10 billion people following you around. But if you get people, they will. They will be real Christians. Now listen to this. Would you rather have 2 that's going to heaven? Or would you rather have 10,000 that's following you into hell? Think about that. Would you rather have 2 that's going to follow you into heaven? Or would you have 10,000 that's following you into hell? All right, God bless you. Thank you for joining. We'll see you again next time right here, Crossing the Middle Ministry.